Also, the Bear Ambo is a 2012 Demers Class 3 ambulance that we are converting into a mobile, off-grid tiny home. This is episode 2 of the Bear Ambo Project. In this episode, we are going to show you the mountain of equipment that we are going to install during the conversion process. Equipment that'll make life on the road, living on and off the grid, much more comfortable. So let's join Jeff at Polar Mobility Research and take a look at this carefully curated collection of essential accessories.
Hi, we're looking at the solar system that we've spec'd out for the Bear Ambo project. It's going to have 3 of these large solar panels, and we picked these ones because they're 355 watts each, so we're going to be up around 1100 watts of solar power. And these are the largest ones we could get that would actually fit on the top of the roof. They'll be laid flat, and they'll be in an aluminum frame and secured to the roof and bolted right to the actual frame of the ambulance. Well, continuing with the solar system, we've decided to use the Discovery Lithium Blue batteries. They are rated at about 200 amp hours each, so we have a total of 600 amp hours, a lot of power for this. They're also rated, because they're lithium, they rate them at 2500 watt batteries. They should last for 10 to 15 years. They're excellent batteries. They also have Bluetooth capability. They should look really good in the ambulance. So much solar because in the northern hemispheres we don't get as much sunlight during the years in the south or the middle of the US or something like that. You know, it's here you need a little more solar, more wattage to make sure you charge everything up. Lithium batteries, we chose those because they cycle better and they last longer than glass mat batteries or lead acid batteries. They also can drain down and recharge back to full charge, or almost 99%, compared to a glass mat or a lead acid battery, which does not recover as well. We've decided to use the Victron solar systems. We have a 500 amp shunt to protect the whole system, and that goes in the ground circuit, a smart solar charge controller, and a DC to DC charger. And the reason we have this is because we're using lithium battery. And the lithium batteries, when they are fully charged, they won't accept any more power. And if you don't have a DC to DC controller, it can actually damage your alternator in the vehicle. So this is to protect the vehicle itself and protect the alternator. Of course, we'll have a 70 amp resettable circuit breaker to protect everything. Everything will be fused and protected so that we don't have any damage caused by any spikes or any problems that we may have in the future.
The first item that I bought for the kitchen in also the Ambo is a Cuisinart steam oven. Now, I had one of these when I lived on my boat, and I used it to great success. I cooked meals in it, but the main thing is I got to do a lot of baking, and I baked bagels, bread, and cookies, and that's something I really missed over the last couple of years of living in a minivan. So when I knew that I was buying an ambulance to convert into a tiny home, I knew that I would find room in the ambulance for the Cuisinart steam oven. And I am really looking forward to some of the fresh bagels and bread that I will be able to produce in a campsite with this piece of equipment, which I bought off Amazon. Now, I also had on the boat an induction cooktop. So I knew that that was what I would be wanting to use in the ambulance. One of my fears living in a boat and using propane was carbon monoxide and explosion. And one of my fears in living in an ambulance would be carbon monoxide poisoning and explosion from using propane and the subsequent open flame. So I knew that I would be using a induction cooktop. This one is the Isiler induction cooktop, which I bought on Amazon, and it has a range of 100 watts to 1800 watts, and it has really fine adjustment, so it's going to be perfect. Now, as a backup for this, I also have an Origo 1-burner alcohol stove, which I also used on my sailboat, so I know it worked very well. One of the nice things about alcohol is, even though it is an open flame, it does not create carbon monoxide, it exhausts carbon dioxide. So it's way better. And plus, it's low pressure. The chances of it exploding are somewhere between slim and none, and slim left out. This item comes highly recommended by another YouTube channel. I saw Foresty Forest use a Ninja Foodi to great success in all sorts of off-grid remote campsites. And so any of you that have followed Foresty Forest, and if you haven't, I recommend it, will see that he will set up his Ninja Foodi, he'll have a meal in it, he'll go off on a hike, and when he comes back, it's ready for him. So on his recommendation, I went out and bought a Ninja Foodi at Canadian Tire. The Bear Ambo is also going to have an outdoor kitchen because when you're camping, you don't want to be cooking and eating your meals indoors. So I was looking for a small butane grill. Nothing cumbersome, nothing too big, nothing too messy. And I found this little unit here on Amazon, and it is the Airbay butane grill. And so it's got this black metal grill here for hamburgers and steaks and weenies and things like that. But it also has this wire grill for cooking fish. So it's very versatile. And I think I'm going to get an awful lot of use out of it when I am camping off-grid in the Bear Ambo. And while I was looking for this and going through Amazon, this unit here popped up. Now this unit is the Cusimax smokeless grill. Now it is electric, so like everything in my indoor kitchen, it will be running off the batteries, or if I happen to be plugged in, offshore power, but primarily off the batteries. And this unit here is very highly regarded, highly reviewed, and it's virtually smokeless, especially when you use it with the included glass lid. With all the cooking options that I'm going to be putting into the Bear Ambo, well, you pretty much have to have some kind of a refrigerator freezer to keep all that food that you're going to prepare. So my choice was the Dometic CFX 395. Now this is a dual zone 12 volt refrigerator. It has two separate zones, two separate lids, two separate thermostats, and you can control it either off the display on the unit, or you can control it with Bluetooth on your phone. And this is very large capacity. It holds 95 liters combined in the two compartments. Now the reason I went with Dometic was because it's very, very highly regarded. The reviews are all excellent. About the only negative that I've heard about Dometic coolers in the van life market is the price. And well, I decided I needed something good, something reliable, so I chose the Dometic. And I got it through Polar Mobility Research because they are a Canadian distributor of Dometic products, including this one. And of course, because a lot of the work, well, all of the work is being done at Polar Mobility Research, I decided I'd support the brand, support Polar, and use Dometic. And I think I'm going to be very happy with my choice. Let's take a quick look at the inside compartments of the Dometic CFX 395 refrigerator freezer. Wow, look at the size of these two compartments. This one here, which I will probably use as my refrigerator compartment, has a big basket and a nice divider in it. It's deep enough for milk, big pop bottles and things like that, and lots of room to keep food cold. Here on the other side, this is somewhat smaller because the compressor takes up a part of the space, but once again it's still got a nice use of baskets. This will be the freezer. It'll do quite well. It'll keep a good supply of frozen meat and fish and vegetables and things like that. So when I go off grid for extended periods of time, this unit will really fill the bill. This is it, the Dometic CFX dual zone 95 liter refrigerator, which, as I mentioned, I got through Polar Mobility, who happened to be a distributor.
Well, we're here to show you the air conditioning system that we spec'd out for the Bear Ambo project. This is a Dometic unit. Dometic is very popular in RVs and It's been around for years. They make a lot of different kinds of air conditioners. This one is specifically unique as it runs on 12-volt DC power and does not need 110 volts to run. And we spec'd it out because the Ambo has a solar system with lithium batteries, and he'll be sitting for extended periods of time and may not be having the vehicle running and may not have landline power. So this unit is about 7,000 BTUs of cooling. It has multiple speeds, has a remote control, so the operator doesn't have to reach up to the ceiling, can just use the remote control. It also runs from 10 to 58 amps depending on the heat load, but it averages about 19 amps and should be able to get an easy 12 hours of running this unit to cool off the ambulance so that you can sleep at night if it's really hot, especially if you're down in the States and it's extremely warm. It's the RTX 2000 Dometic unit, and it was donated to us by Dometic Canada for the Bear Ambo Project. And the distributor in Alberta for Dometic is Polar Mobility Research in Calgary, Alberta, and Edmonton and Reagan. For the Bear Ambo Project, this is the window that we're putting in over the dinette that we're going to be building. It's a 30 by 26 sliding window with a screen. Sourced it from CanadaRV. Took a little while to get because they had to actually build it for it. But it should fit really nice. Previously you saw us cutting the hole in the ambulance. Eventually you'll get to see us install it.
One of the issues that I had while living in a minivan for almost 2 years was not having a toilet in the unit. There just wasn't room. And when you're a one-legged guy living in a minivan, it can be a problem. You wake up in the middle of the night with a pressing need, a call of nature, and well, you have to put your leg on, then you have to break down your camp setup of the minivan, get things out of the way so that you can actually drive and go out and try and find some business that's open with a toilet that'll let you use it. And it can be critical at times. So I knew when I was moving into an ambulance, one of the first things I had to make room for, not find room for, make room for, was a toilet. And I didn't want it to be one of the porta potties, chemical toilets that are messy and smelly and inconvenient to use. I wanted a toilet like this because I had used this toilet while I was living on my boat for some years, and it works flawlessly. No odor, easy to take care of liquid and solid waste disposal, not an issue, exceptionally well made. And this is the Nature's Head composting toilet, and I bought it from Channel Cutter Sales in Ladysmith, British Columbia, and at a very reasonable price. So this will be going into the ambulance on a sliding drawer underneath the bed platform. So it'll be out of the way, but it'll be easily accessible. Nature's Head composting toilet. Hardly anybody uses these in a van conversion, do they? A Maxxair fan? These things are ubiquitous. Virtually everybody puts a Maxxair fan of some sort in their conversion. Why? Simply because they are the best available. And this is the Deluxe, got remote control, I believe Bluetooth control, multi-speed. You can set it to blow air out or bring air in. It's going to go into the kitchen area, so when I'm cooking, I can turn it on and it'll suck out any cooking odors. When I need ventilation and maybe not quite enough cooling to run the air conditioner, this will suck cool air in and cool off the unit. The Maxxair fan, where did I get it? I was able to have my friend Jeff, the big bear at Polar Mobility, order it for me. And I bought this unit through the auspices of Polar Mobility Research in Calgary, Alberta. Right now you're probably thinking, wow, he has got everything in that ambulance except for the kitchen sink. Well, I have the kitchen sink. This is the Kilviken black quartzite composite kitchen sink, and I bought this from IKEA. I believe it's 6 gallons, so I'll be able to put 6 gallons of warm water into the sink, and then with an immersion pump shower unit that I have, I'll be able to sit in my little dog bath on the floor of the Ambo and have a shower when I'm in remote areas. So this will not only be used for cleanup after cooking, but it'll also be used as as a water supply for a shower.
Okay, we're here in the shop looking at the custom-made aluminum tanks that we had built for the Bear Ambo project. We build them out of aluminum because they're not going to rust. And for the potable water, we'll get fresher water, it'll taste good. The larger tank here is the potable water tank, and it's close to 30 gallons. This tank here is the gray water tank that we'll be using to empty out the sink and that in the kitchen. This tank here is a fuel tank for the diesel for the hydronic heating system that we'll be installing, and you'll see a video about that shortly. These tanks, we had them custom made, and they were made by Calgary Aluminum. A fellow named Craig did a great job for us. Now we're going to show you the heart of the heating system for the Bear Ambo project. This is the Eberspacher, or S-Bar, Hydronic M series 10 kilowatt circulating hydronic heater. It's diesel fired. That's why we'll be installing a diesel fuel tank into the ambulance. This unit will circulate the glycol from the engine, and it'll pump it through multiple heat exchangers. One will be a low voltage heat exchanger to keep the air inside the ambulance warm in the wintertime, thermatically controlled. Fully automatic, multiple speeds, and as the coolant and the glycol heats up, it actually uses less power and it goes to lower speeds and uses less diesel fuel. Probably gonna get, with our 18-gallon fuel tank, you probably get at least a week of good heat out of that. It also has a digital control unit. It's called an Easy Start. You can set it as a timer if you're away. You can have it run for as long as you want, and there's multiple other functions that are available with it too. The unit is being supplied and sold by Polar Mobility Research. We've been distributing the Eberspacher S-Bar heaters now. We're in our 42nd year.
In this video, we showed you the carefully curated mountain of accessory equipment that we have accumulated for the Bear Ambo project. And we explained why each and every item was selected. Now we have to make room in the Ambo for every piece of that equipment. We will do that in the next video as we return to the interior of the Bear Ambo and continue ripping it apart. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.